Hi there and welcome. I'm here with Hannah Mears. I'm Raj Jha, and we do case studies. Case studies where you can learn about demand generation, everything about how you can get more interest in your products, in your services, in your company, whether it's from customers, whether it's from investors, acquirers. That's what we're going over today. And today's case study is about an app. And a lot of app developers assume that if they build it, the customers will come, but that's almost never the case. Today, we're going to look at an interesting app because gaining raving fans is going to be completely make or break for this app. And I'll bet that you can learn something about how to gather some fans for your app or for your company from what we've got here today. So, Hannah, tell us a little bit about the profile of this company, if this app that they're building, and what we're talking about today.
Yeah, so here's what they got going for them, Raj. This is a topic around something that I would say almost everyone in the world loves, music. So they say our app lets music lovers discover new artists and compete with other listeners to be the most accurate predictor of what new tracks become popular. If your predictions make it to the top of our charts, you're rewarded with badges showing the accuracy of your music taste making and get early access to exclusive tracks. Basically, we've glamified the music discovery process.
So it's gamified. So it's like typo
Oh my
there.
gosh, I thought that said glamified.
Oh, sorry.
Gamified. Okay.
Gamified.
I can start that over. Okay.
Yeah.
You're rewarded with
Gamified. Is it making it into a game? Gamified.
gamified. Okay. I thought they said glamified, like make it like glamorous, whatever. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Cool. You wanted to start from the
Okay. So what they
all
have.
the.
Oh, are you starting?
No. You go.
We're
You
just
go.
gonna start over. We're just gonna start over. Go ahead. We can start over. It'll take like 30
Okay.
seconds to go.
Okay. Well, hi there, I'm Raj Jha. I'm here with Hannah Mears, and we do case studies that help you with generating demand, whether you're looking to generate demand for your company itself from acquirers or investors or from your products and services. These case studies help to break it down. So today we've got an app developer, and so many app developers fall into the category of build it and they will come. And we all know, or we should know, that that really isn't the case. So today we're going to take a look at an app where getting a large group of raving fans is critical to success. And they're having some challenges with it and where to go with it. So Hannah, tell us a little bit about this app and what they need to accomplish.
Well, this concept already has a lot of fans. Everyone loves music. You're a fan of music, whether it's an artist or a genre. And so this profile today says, our app lets music lovers discover new artists and compete with other listeners to the most accurate predictor of which new tracks become popular. If your predictions get to the top of our charts, you're rewarded with badges showing the accuracy of your music taste making and get early access to exclusive tracks. Basically, we've gamified the music discovery process. Now, Raj, my initial thoughts with this is pretty cool. And let me tell you why. I feel like everyone I talk to nowadays, if they share a song with you, they want credited for discovering that song. It may have been out on a platform forever, but you may post it to one of your social media stories and someone will respond and say, hey, aren't you going to give me credit for showing you this song? I don't know why, but everyone wants credit for discovering some sort of music. Even the things with Apple and Spotify that they're doing now, maybe the two most popular music apps to say, people can then see what they've listened to all year, what their favorite genre was, who their favorite artist was. People have been blasting those on social media. It's a very fun thing to do. But I think the most interesting part of this is that you can have exclusive access to new tracks. So then you really can be the first one instead of just saying I was the first of my friend group to find this track. So my initial thoughts are I think it's exciting. I think it's interesting. And I think there would be a lot of people who would want to partake in this gaming process of music. What are your initial thoughts with this, Raj?
Well, I do love the gamification concept of this. It leans into like you were talking about the social credit that people get for doing it. So I think it's right on how social media is working right now. If you look at how on TikTok and various other platforms, sometimes you're dealing with curated music, but a lot of artists are themselves trying to get discovered on these platforms. So from the artist side, it's another way to get discovered. On the individual side, it's a way to get social credit. I guess my big question, and I don't know if we'll address this based on where they go with their question, but I don't know how the company's going to make money off of this. And, that's a big question mark. However, I think just as a concept, if they can get all these pieces working, it sounds like a really good one.
So we agree. It's an awesome concept, but obviously there's always questions and issues down the line in terms of how to make this work. So the situation is, we're launching the app later in the year, and we need to have enough music coming onto the platform regularly for it to be successful. If there isn't enough music or there aren't enough good tracks, people won't stick around. The question is, we need to attract several hundred artists before launching. So far, we've been trying to do outreach to pop, hip hop, metal, and R&B artists in LA to be featured in the app. But even when they say they're interested, they don't actually contribute any new tracks. How do we get critical mass with enough artists who actually upload music? I think that's a really good question. You need music, you need artists, you need people to make this work at all, but most importantly, music. So they've been doing a lot of local outreach in LA, trying to get artists to contribute. They aren't having a lot of success. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think it's because, well, I'm going to stereotype artists here in general, like musicians and artists, like not always the greatest on the follow through, right? If they're really great at their craft, but the follow through not so much. And they could get excited about the idea. You call a musician, they've got a band, whether it's just an undiscovered band or it's an up and coming band, what have you. They get excited about the idea, but then they get distracted with all the things that they're doing from day to day. So I think the issue is really that the people that they're reaching out to aren't in the mode of trying to promote their tracks in this way, right? They've got a new kind of business model, if you will, for them, and just kind of randomly going out and finding all the bands that are playing in various venues and contacting them. I think your hit rate's going to be low, and even if they say yes, and even if they do contribute a track, are they going to continue to do so? So are you going to be able to get those exclusive tracks, because you need a follow-up exclusive track if you're, got the one that you're putting broadly on the platform? That's the question. So I think, the net of it is they might not be fishing in the right pond.
So then where do they go from here? What would be a more successful way of actually getting these bands to join their app? Just getting bands, artists, people in general, what's their best approach?
So I would go, and I think we deal with this on a few of these case studies. It's if you have to go fishing where the fish are, right? So where are the bands who are already putting out tracks to the public? So you have to think about, there's a large universe of bands, but there's some who are just really, they're showing up at a venue and they're doing it because they love to play live. And if they get discovered, that's great, but they're not really trying to release their music digitally. But then there's folks who are doing that. They're actively going out there. And I'd look on, SoundCloud and places like that where artists can go to publish music. These are folks who've been proven that they're already doing this. And this could be another venue for those kind of folks to do it. Or you go to TikTok and you find out artists that are on TikTok and publishing music. They are clearly trying to get their new music out there. So if you can take an existing behavior of publication and someone's already trying to do this and say, hey, all you have to do is a few clicks and you upload it here in addition, and you might get discovered. I think that's the way to go. You got to fish in that pond.
Yeah, that's so funny you said that, because those are the two things I was going to mention. Go to TikTok, everyone's singing. Go to Spotify and SoundCloud and like these different sites, people are creating profiles, but SoundCloud especially. I knew a lot of people that I went to college with, they would create a song, drop it on there, send the link to all their friends. There are so many undiscovered, quote, artists on there who are looking to be discovered. YouTube, also a great place to go look, and you can comment on people's videos as well and drive as many people to your website or app as possible. But is there anything about their choice? They said they reached out to specific genres of music, pop, hip hop, metal, R&B. Is there anything about their choices that could affect their success?
Well, not in terms of the genre of music necessarily, but I think the fact that there are so many genres. Because if you look at that list, I'm not sure that a necessarily R&B person is going to want to hear metal and vice versa. I mean, you've got some folks who listen to all kinds of music, but by and large, you've got people who kind of stick to a certain family of music. So if you're at the very beginning of this platform, you're spreading yourself really thin, and then you've got all these different genres. I'm going to come there and only going to find, I'm looking for metal. So I'm only going to find 5 metal tracks. That's just not enough. Mm-hmm. So just like we talked about being specific in many of these case studies about who your customer is, in a way, your customer, the consumer of the music, the person who's going to be trying to predict what's going to get popular, they're the consumer, and you need to have enough product for them. So I would suggest maybe going narrow and just picking one of these and really going after it. So you're going to SoundCloud, you're going to, whatever service these people are already posting on, and get just a whole bunch of R&B or a whole bunch of pop or a whole bunch of metal, and just make that community around one thing and establish it and understand what the user behavior is and if all this stuff works, rather than spreading yourself too thin. I think that's the mistake.
So then in terms of just getting themselves out there, we talk a lot about advertising and marketing. So what about online advertising? Should they try that? I mean, musicians are posting their stuff online, so shouldn't they be trying a lot of online advertising as well?
The answer is maybe. I think so. There's two. This is another marketplace. We've done another marketplace case study. This is another marketplace. And with marketplaces, you need both. You need 2 parties. And here you need the musicians, and then you also need the people in the community. And so the issue with the marketplace is, how do you get people into it? Advertising online to try to find musicians, I think that would be really hard, to be honest, to do cost effectively. So I don't think for this side of the business that's necessarily right where to go. There's an argument on the other side of the business for music lovers, and especially if you're niching down, then you can go. Then you can start targeting people who like these certain bands on on Facebook, on Instagram, what have you. You can definitely do that. But for this part, they're unlocked. The first part of their unlock is having enough music. So I don't think online advertising is necessarily the right way to go. It's and you and I have dealt with this recently on the last case study, which was it might need to be old school. You might need to go and do some old school outreach, and that kind of is a theme that we're seeing for a lot of folks who are starting with advertising. They really haven't tried to do it the hard way first. But you're going to learn so much more by doing it the hard way. You're going to learn that instead of advertising and not knowing, well, why aren't these bands signing up? You're actually going to have a conversation, and they're going to tell you, oh, it's because actually I want to either save these rights that I want to use in some other way, or your platform doesn't really work because it's so hard to upload this way. You learn those in conversations. So I think doing it the hard way is the way to start for these guys.
Yes, exhaust all of your options. And unfortunately, that means going old school and starting the hard way sometimes. But something I think they can also think about is, if they still want to dive in, we've given them all the resources and advice to help adjust what they're doing right now. But my biggest question was, when I was reading this, I guess, or thought to myself was, wow, this could be really great for someone who wants to break into the music industry. I don't know a ton about trying to get your foot in the door, but I do think I do get my foot in the door, I guess, on the production side of the industry. And everyone wants to see, well, what can you show me that you've done or can do for us? Maybe this app could be a way for people who want to, say, be in the industry, work for a big producer, a production company, and say, hey, because of this app, I've successfully thought, I have a badge saying that I know when charts are going to be hot, who's going to be at the top. I've discovered so-and-so and so-and-so as an artist, and I actually got them this many amount of followers as well. So this could be a way for people wanting to break into the music industry, actually generate their own profile and resume or demo reel, I guess you could say, that they could send to people and say, hey, check out my profile. This is exactly what I've done. It's right here in front of you, and it's all proven from this app. What are your thoughts on something like that, Raj?
I think that's a great idea, especially because if you can attract those people who are really into being in the industry and really go deep on that, and all it needs is 1 or 2 songs that actually make it somewhere, And then all of a sudden you've got this credibility around it. So this is about, instead of trying to go really broad at the beginning and say, well, every casual music listener could want this, we've suggested going really niche and saying, no, we're just going to hip hop, and we are just going to the bands that are already producing music. And then on the consumption side of it, we're saying, why don't we start with folks who are just so into it that they would be interested in having that badge, whether it's for their career or whatever it's going to be. And so really going with the enthusiasts first before you go out to everyone else, I think is the lesson here. So I think that's a really good point, Hannah, and it reinforces everything else we've been saying about specificity.
Yeah, know your target audience here. Yes, like I said, everyone loves music, and the general music lovers would totally jump on board once they know this is something that's really effective and efficient and that would be worthwhile to their time. But I think you do need to hone in on this really specific music audience. And like Raj said, maybe pick one genre to start with. Hip hop is probably your biggest, most popular one right now, especially amongst a lot of the younger generation. So with all that being said, I think you've got a great thing going. Just keep a couple of things in mind. And if you have any other questions, please let us know. We'd be happy to help, or possibly check out some of our other videos that we've done. And maybe that will answer some of your future questions that you have, or current ones as well that you have been dying to answer. So please don't feel afraid to go check out our videos. We'd love to help you, and we look forward to hearing from you all in the future.
Thank you.